OBJ was a racist. He's an old white man.
Are all white people racist?
I would say that I think white people have an implicit bias.
Do you understand how racist it is to think that all white people are racist?
We don't experience.
Woke people never seem to stop talking. They always have something to say, and they end up saying the most foolish things. And they definitely don't always get away with it, because there are times men don't hold back from woke people. Buckle up, this is gonna be an interesting ride.
What is something weird about conservatives? There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people, they're refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is a large part of it.
Says the guy who looks like he belongs in a circus.
I'm a 27-year-old transgender woman. I am a wolf therian and a member of the furry fandom.
When and how did you discover this inner wolfness?
Probably around age 10 or 11. I was watching an anime about wolves and see the wolf running across the screen, and I'm somehow just intrinsically like, oh, that's me.
Have you spent any time around biological wolves?
Yes.
That sounds dangerous also. What context are you?
So I was a volunteer with a preserve, and I've also visited many wolf preserves.
Are you able to communicate with the wolves?
Am I going to have a conversation with a wolf in the way that I'm communicating you and I? Obviously not. Am I going to read their body language, respond appropriately to their behaviors and their nonverbal cues? Yes.
Would you be able to give us an example of this wolf communication?
No. I'm not comfortable doing so.
Okay, all right.
She identifies as a wolf, but do the wolves identify her as one of them?
I am female. I use the female's restroom.
I have never put my hands on a female before in my life, but so help me God, if I see you walk in the bathroom with my little girl, or somebody else's, I will be adopting a new hobby.
A full-grown man taking pride in the fact that he can use the female's bathroom is nothing short of a mental disorder.
And finally, a Rorschach test. I'm about to show you a piece of footage. The way I view this footage is it's hilarious. If you're woke, this is really offensive.
Disgusting. What do you think you are? You're just a coward. You're embarrassing. What am I gonna do? Nothing. You're gonna die on your own.
Killing animals, and it feels good in front of the vegans. You have all the blood on your face and all the blood on your hands. It feels good.
He had a kebab in front of them. Oh, take it easy, pal.
I admit it, I'm an indirect vegetarian. I only eat animals that eat vegetables.
Why do so many women today say they don't need a man?
Because we're independent as hell.
If a man has friends, doesn't want kids, hires a maid and hires a prostitute, why would a man need a woman?
He could learn one or two things from a woman.
Imagine realizing that you aren't that important.
Trans women are not women. Do you agree with that? I would say that trans women are women because people that exist under the category of women and people that exist under the category of men are still human.
So that category, how is that defined?
Well, I wouldn't limit it to things like genitals or things like chromosomes, which it seems like you want to do. What type of genitals would you say I have? Since
I don't know. I'm not obsessed with genitals, but I could do a blood sampling right now and I can see exactly what you are, because every single one of your trillions of cells are either coded with XX or XY, no matter how much surgery, whatever. I think that you are a man, but you could fool me. You could take hormones, you could play camouflage. Like, I could fool you to be Hispanic if I had the right Hollywood makeup director.
Every one of these wokies should ask for a refund from whatever college they went to, cause they are obviously idiots.
When men start to live in Disneyland, guys are completely psychotic. They say they want a girl who's a good girl, but then they'll still date a girl who has a checkered past and has slept with an infinite amount of guys and then marry her. See, I'm not one of those guys. I find it to be utterly disgusting. That's why I call it out. Now, with regards to speaking on people who display a lack of intelligence, even though it's impolite and rude, I think it's necessary, because in this day, we've allowed people like Sexy Red to become popular and spread their filth. So I'm a part of the army stigmatizing those persons so that we know, no, love, you don't look good with those big eyelashes. You look like a damn fool. No, we don't want you to wear a fake hair hat. It's disgusting. So I gotta speak on it when they're doing dumb things, because otherwise, she'll walk around thinking that she's a big deal. When in reality, she's not a big deal. She shouldn't interrupt anyone. They say are good at multitasking. Here's 2 tasks. Shut up and sit down.
That's how you destroy a Wokey.
Technically, I was born as an Aquarius, but I don't like my birthday, so I changed my birthday. I figure, like, you can change so many things about you, so I changed my birthday. But I'm an Aquarius sun, I'm an Aries rising, and I'm a Pisces moon. But I guess, technically, with my new birthday, I would be a Leo.
So you identify with a different birthday?
Yeah, I don't like my birthday. I just don't like it. It's a winter birthday. It sucks.
But isn't it the age of Aquarius?
Something like that.
I mean, wouldn't you want to be an Aquarius? Because this is the age of Aquarius?
I like being Aquarius, I just don't like my birthday. I feel like everything bad always happens to me on my birthday. So I was like, nah, I'm just gonna actually celebrate my half birthday. So I just celebrate my half birthday now.
Well, today's my birthday.
Today might be your birthday.
It is now. I just changed it.
Sick. Awesome. Happy birthday. How old are you?
Well, I'm the same age I was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's my birthday.
Okay, cool.
I am not rich, so I changed this. And now I consider myself as millionaire. So much happier now.
Why should I vote for Trump when his border policies are xenophobic?
Let him cook! Let him cook! I said let him cook!
What about what Trump did or what he says he's going to do is about him believing he's better than another race. Does every human being who says they have a tough life have a right to come into America? That would be opening America to 5 billion people. Are you comfortable with that? Am I allowed to rob a bank if I'm poor? If someone is homeless, are they able to break into your dorm room?
No, I'm gonna kick them out.
You'll kick them out, right? So then we as Americans should kick out people that break into our country. It doesn't matter if you have a good story. The question is, do you come here the right way or the wrong way?
If more Wokies were willing to listen rather than just argue, they'll learn a thing or two just like this guy.
The Women's World Cup. It's called the Women's World Cup. We have a new superstar, the Canada midfielder Quinn, goes by the name Quinn. She's a transgender, non-binary ex-woman. So my question is, if you're no longer identifying as a woman, what are you doing playing in the Women's World Cup? Not my title, that is the official title of the tournament. She doesn't qualify. They don't qualify, even though there's only one of them. They don't qualify for the Women's World Cup because they used to be a woman, but now they don't want to be a woman. So then we have to call them they for being a transgender, even though they're non-binary, and they're still playing in the Women's World Cup, and we're all supposed to go, well done, Quinn, what a moment!
They are confused even themselves, not knowing where they belong to. It's cause women's sport for a reason, but the real problem here is that these Wokies can't even define who a woman is.
Do you believe same-sex attraction can be cured?
Not really, no. But people can choose to not act on a tendency.
Okay.
So, for example, if somebody is an adulterer and they cheat on their wife all the time, they can stop being an adulterer.
So would you say that those two things are urges, or like just things you decide?
That's an interesting question, is that if you have same-sex attraction, right, do you have the ability to not act on that attraction?
Well, I mean, if it's an urge, you have the ability to not act on that.
Okay, then we agree.
Is it compulsive is the question. Like, is it
Well, nothing is compulsive, right? I mean, I'm a heterosexual, and I don't need to have sex.
But you are compulsively attracted to women?
Well, no, of course I'm attracted, but I mean, look at people in the
It's not even about sex, it's about attraction. You said same-sex attraction.
No, exactly, but you don't have to act on attractions.
That's true.
That's the point.
So, what should a person with same-sex attraction
That's an individualized type of conversation. I'm not one to tell them how to live. I'm instead saying, what does my religion say? And my religion says that acting on same-sex attraction, not having it, is a sin and is distance from God. But I'm not a pastor, I'm not a theologian. Every conversation is individualized and different. But from a very strict moral standpoint, you asked me a question of what is my world dictate? But I also think it's wrong to act as if that particular attraction is something that you must act upon at all times and that we must accommodate our entire society around, and that it's inextricably linked to who you are and your identity.
They wouldn't like to hear this, but yes, you can choose to not be gay. I love how some of these people act surprised, like they didn't expect to be hit when standing in the middle of the road.
The question to ask is the amount of money that you two girls are making on, is it worth giving up a family and love? Because any man that is worth his f***ing salt that you would even be attracted to wouldn't put up with it. I can tell you right now, and you, my dear, are a depreciating asset. So every day that goes by, you're going to be less and less beautiful, and at some point, there's going to be a history of you doing doing that. As beautiful as you are, you're stunning, you're a pretty girl, but no man that is going to be in your league is going to put up with it.
Did he just call her a depreciating asset? Damn.
Are you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here?
No.
Why?
There's a lot of illegal immigrants here that are working their butts off for the life that they want.
I don't care if they're working hard. The point is, what should the punishment be for breaking into a country?
Depends on the crime you commit after you break into it.
So to play that out, if someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
If I'm not gonna do my own dishes, heck yeah! They're doing my dishes for me? Cool. If they don't kill me, I'm not dead. It is what it is, man.
She's only saying that to support her argument. You know she's calling the cops to get the intruder gone if that happens.
About the ideology as to why you think that a woman shouldn't have the right to her own bodily autonomy in regards to abortion.
A woman should have the right to her own bodily autonomy, but not to kill another human. You know, but as far as the idea that I'm like sitting awake at night thinking, how do I control women's bodies? No, not really, not at all, actually. The thing that I do care about is the preservation of human lives. I don't have an argument that pro-choicers are ignoring a premise. That's fine. You're allowed to ignore a premise or think a premise that I'm getting is wrong. Well, it turns out that the vast majority of women for literally all of human existence have engaged in childbearing and rearing, and it has not, in fact, ruined their lives. In fact, married women with children are, by poll data, the happiest women in America.
All right, thank you for the straw man fallacy. Thank you.
I missed what she actually said. What was it? Straw man?
Straw man fallacy, I think.
You can't just shout straw man and run away. Do you want to come back and explain why it was a straw man, or no? Okay.
It's so very cute when they learn new words and phrases and try them out for the first time.
Because that's all guys want. All guys want is pussy.
Or could it be that the men that only want sex from women is because that's all that the women have to offer? Because for me, if pussy's all you're offering, pussy's all I want.
The truth is a mute button.
Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
Well, I'm very glad I put you on the spot. Well, I'm very glad that I have exercised my
point. You get my point. It's like you're doing what you should do, which is taking a bit to see what the hell's going on. And that is what you should do. But you're exercising your freedom of speech to certainly risk offending me. And that's fine. I think more power to you as far as I'm concerned.
So you haven't sat there and I'm just trying to work that out. I mean,
gotcha.
You have got me. I'm trying to work that through in my head. Yeah, it took a while.
She wanted to get up and walk out on her own interview.
If I'm working a job in a lab and a man is working a job in the same lab, we're doing the same things, then we should be getting equal pay.
But what if you work harder than him? Should you get more money?
Well, what do you mean, like, work harder?
Put in more hours, show up earlier?
I mean, wouldn't I...
What if you're better than him?
Then they would probably recognize the hard work that
But I thought you said equal pay.
I mean, I think it would depend on, like, your lab position and, like, how high...
You have the same title. Do you want it to be based on merit or just equality no matter what?
The silence was loud. It's obvious she doesn't know what she is saying other than what she has been told.
Any vegans in? Is anyone here vegan? Oh, is there one there? What's your name? God, what happened? You ran out of energy? Fair enough, there's nothing in tofu. What, God, where's the vegan over there? What's your name, sir? Where's Ben? Give his wife. Hi, Ben. Because people get confused, don't they? Vegan, vegetarian, what does it all mean? Well, if you're vegan, Ben, it means you're boring to talk to. Oh, the vegans, they won't kill anything other than a conversation.
He definitely ran out of energy after that.
You dropped out of college, and your highest...
Community college.
Sorry, your Harper College experience, I apologize.
Barely was smart enough to make it through community college.
Okay. What are your qualifications for arguing that college is a scam, or really having any economical knowledge at all, when likely the vast majority of the students here know more than you?
Who's Milton Friedman?
Who's Milton Friedman? I have no idea, and that's not important to this conversation. Same thing.
John Maynard Keynes.
Okay, obviously I know who Keynes is.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
He's the most famous economist of all time.
You don't know Milton Friedman?
I mean, that's an economist.
F.A. Hayek?
I don't know who that is.
You're right, I barely made it through community college because I was too busy, I don't know, starting a national youth movement with hundreds of thousands of members, raising hundreds of millions of dollars,
Yes.
having a top 10 most popular podcast,
Sure.
and reaching tens of millions of people online every day. I'm a job creator, entrepreneur, autodidact. Do you know what that word means? Yeah, self-taught. You know, you should probably learn that word if you're going to insult other people's intelligence.
Hey.
Like college kids don't usually leave school and don't have a clue how the world works.
How does one know that someone with the total physical appearance of a man, how can one know that that person really is a woman? Do you have an answer to that question?
So my response to you is then a question of what is the purpose of knowing another person's sexual identity or
So you ask me, why do you even care? What's the purpose of knowing someone's biological sex? Well, for starters, because we have civil rights specifically for women in the United States. We have special bathrooms for women, we have special sports leagues for women, we have all sorts of special places and rights and privileges that are for women that are not for men. So if now some men, people who at the very least appear to be men, are claiming a right to go into those women's bathrooms, then we either have to abolish all of the special rights and privileges that have existed for women for all of human history and are enshrined in our law, or they need to explain to me how those men are actually women, and they can't do the latter, and I'm not willing to do the former, and I don't think women across this country are willing to do the former, even if a few people have been so ideologically blinded that they would give in to this kind of an absurdity.
So answering with a question was her trying to use the reverse card, but she failed and the dude opened the trap card.
You keep defining abortion as the murder of babies, which biological fact is you would say most abortions are done before they are actually babies. It's still just a fetus. So my question...
Do you know what the word fetus means?
It's just a cluster. It's developing into a baby eventually.
The word fetus, it's a Latin word, and it just means offspring. That's all it means. It just means the next generation of a being. So, but that's what a baby is also. I mean, that's what you would call your adult child someday once he's grown, hopefully if he hasn't been...
Can I ask my question?
Well, I'd just like to clarify this point. You would call your adult child your offspring too, but all of these terms that you might use, fetus, embryo, the one they love is zygote, which sounds like a Pokemon, but they use all these different terms, but it's all referring to the same being, and you were that being once. You, the person who's standing here right now.
Many of us have a memory of being that being.
Oh, I don't have a memory of last Thursday, frankly. It's been a very busy week, but the lack of a memory doesn't mean it's all right to murder.
She was also a clump of cells once, and fortunately or unfortunately, she wasn't aborted.
White people are not being haunted.
You're being hunted?
Let me tell. Okay, y'all can laugh, but until you have walked as a black person on this campus, y'all truly don't understand.
You're not being hunted at the University of Alabama, and there is no boogeyman that's trying to get you.
It's not. You're making it seem.
You live in the least racist country in the history of the world.
You're in Alabama. You are literally in the place where it's not okay.
Yes, you mean the place that has given you more talking time than any other person here, and where they sit
You're supposed to shut me
respectfully.
down and be like, go sit down? I mean, of course I'm gonna talk to you.
That would have
You're not supposed
happened
to be.
100 years ago. You're right. 100 years ago, you might not have been allowed to come into this room,
So I'm
which would
supposed
have
to
been
bow to you because that's
which would have been evil. No, instead, we are here, we're creating a movement to say we never want to go back to the segregation that once existed in this country that is now being pushed by people in corporate America, in academia, and other places. We want to strive for a country that cares about character and the soul and the spirit of the individual, not on tribes, not on the melanin content in people's skin. And I will say this as compassionately as I can, is that you are not being hunted as a black person in America. There's not a single statistic that affirms that. There's not a single data point. Instead, the opposite is true. We are the least racist, most accepting, multiracial country in the history of the planet, and I pray one day you'll be thankful.
These people actually need help. The fear and panic in her voice is genuine. Someone has brainwashed her into thinking this, and now she is terrified.
So there's a very wide array of jobs that are fundamentally done by men. So for example, Member of Parliament, 99.9% of players.
I'm happy to give my minute to Jordan.
99.9% 99.9% of bricklayers are men. Do we have quotas for women?
Is bricklaying representative democracy?
That has nothing to do with the question. The question is if there's evidence of structural inequality and oppression because women aren't precisely represented at 50% in all professions at all levels, then why don't we have a conversation about having women represented in all professions at all levels? Why do we talk about the C-suite, for example? Why do we talk about politics and positions of power? Why don't we talk about it across the board?
Women only want equal rights when they don't have to do the hard work.
You said, why ugly men have high standards for women?
Yeah, I think it's very strange. Like, it's always the fuggliest men have the most to say.
But who are you to appraise men of how they look? What if they think they're a 10?
Well, again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I might think is a 10, someone might think is, a 5.
But like maybe these men who you think are ugly, like a lot of women think they're 10s.
Okay,
And so wouldn't it
not a lot
be
of
fair for them
women.
to have high standards?
No.
Also, what's wrong with having high standards even if you're not attractive?
I mean, I just think, like, you need to take a good hard look in the mirror and be like, alright, I'm a fugly man and I shouldn't have such high standards.
Should fugly women also think that way?
I don't think women are fugly. Somewhere.
So there's fugly men but not fugly women?
Absolutely.
Are all women 10s?
Sure, yeah.
Are all men 10s?
No.
Interesting how that...
She is a solid 2, then that attitude makes her a -4.
Let me ask you a very simple question. When does life begin?
In my opinion, well, human life begin, or when does life begin? 'Cause that's a different
human
question.
life. That's the operative question,
Human
right?
life begins when a human can survive outside, a human can survive outside
Why?
the body.
Why do you believe that?
That would be, well, because,
No, I don't.
human life, if I cut off my finger, is that human?
Got it.
That clump of human cells, is that different?
Well, let me ask you a question. So if someone who's on a ventilator who can't survive without external machine support, is that a human life?
Well, they can survive outside the womb.
But not without a machine.
I mean,
Without assistance.
Oh,
Without
but-
help.
Okay, people on ventilators, oftentimes concede their right to be removed.
Or
from
someone on
ventilators.
dialysis,
That's
or
not-
someone who's in a nursing home. They can't support themselves, right? So those are still human lives.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, I think you know the difference between a developing human that may not have a heartbeat or may not have.
Well, heartbeat start at 6
may
weeks,
not
so that's a
have
different.
organs that help you.
Now we're moving it
So
back.
you would be okay with a 6-week abortion then?
No.
The fact that these people try to find every way to justify killing a baby is outrageous.
Believe in reparations for people that are
So
in a.
I, white man, have to play for black people. Why?
Wow, that's a really selfish thing you
No,
just said.
hold on. Why should I
That's a really non-empathetic thing to
Wait,
say.
why should the white students here have to work harder to pay for black kids? What is that all about? That's not racist. That's noticing. How is it the white man's fault that black men started to abandon the women?
Bigger problem.
No, blacks need to take responsibility for the women that they impregnate, not blame the white man for racism.
Things affect this.
Why did it affect the Asians? Why did the Asians do so well? America got less racist and the blacks got poorer because we started to subsidize single motherhood and pandering to blacks, saying you do not need to stay around with
You're
the women
pandering.
pregnant.
So you feel like us as a society has pandered.
Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job. You have your entire life obliterated. You say something racist. And yet we have to hear about how racist we are. How about you take responsibility for your own?
The beanie in that weather says it all. His brain is probably cooked.
Do you think that trans women athletes should be able to compete against biological women?
Yes, I do think that, yeah.
You see no inconsistency in these positions?
I don't really know, because I haven't made a comment on the prison.
All right, let me bring it up as a
Because he's scared to be.
I'm not scared.
He's scared to
Honestly,
be
I'm not.
shamed.
I think...
Same thing that Blair said. Let me talk. The same thing that Blair was saying, that people are afraid to be called transphobic and all this stuff. And so are you.
I'm not afraid.
Be honest and tell the truth about the fact that it's absolutely mind-blowingly ridiculous to think that a man with a penis that's impersonating a woman or think he's a woman can be in a women's prison.
That's insane.
But this is
you seem to think it's no disagreement, brother. The man has a penis, and he's in a cell with a woman.
She's a woman. If she,
No.
I believe a trans woman.
This is a problem with society. This is a problem with society.
Don't know what's all going on.
Let me finish. This is a problem with society. You need to be logical, reasonable, and operating fast. It is a man that identify as a woman. It's not a woman. It's very simple. Why can't we get...
There's no talking to these people. Honestly, they're all brain dead or mentally ill.
There are more hate crimes in the United States against transgender people or Jews.
I guess transgender, but I am not sure.
You are certainly not sure. That's right. It's the answer is Jews. Okay.
That just be a numbers thing, though. Like, you're like,
it is a numbers thing, but you cited a numbers thing, so then I'm citing a different numbers thing.
0.1% of people in America are kind of like, yeah, like 100% of them could be like affected by crimes. Only 1%.
Well, we're getting very confused with our numbers. If you're saying it's 0.1% of Americans are transgender, we've also heard it's 0.2 to 0.4%, and now we're hearing that 12% of American millennials identify as transgender or gender non-conforming. So what number is it? I'm certainly confused, and it seems to me that these people are very confused as well.
Is it not, though, more likely that people are identifying as transgender now because of a decrease in the percentage of hate crimes as opposed to previous decades?
The identification is part of the confusion because a man isn't a woman and a woman isn't a man.
The transgender stats are most likely made up to give LGBT legitimacy.
If the only way to ban abortion forever would be to bring back slavery, would you do it?
No.
No?
I wouldn't bring back slavery to try to limit murder. No.
Okay.
What kind of outrageous question is that, by the way?
I'm just curious. Just yes or no.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
Say that again. Ask that again.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
No.
It was an honest answer. Okay. It was an honest answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I can tell you've thought deeply about this topic.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I have.
Great. Yep, next question.
Even the crowd was flabbergasted by her answer.
Let's talk about feminism. Are you a feminist?
No, not as it's currently defined, certainly not.
No, well, in any other definition?
Well, I think that anybody who doesn't think that the competitive landscape should be opened up for equality of opportunity is not thinking. So everyone's interests are better served if people have as equal access to opportunity to display their talents and to manifest their talents in the world as possible. So in that sense, certainly. But feminism now, as far, and this is why it's so deeply unpopular, a very small minority of women in the UK identify as feminists. And the reason for that is it's primarily become an ideological weapon. And it's an ideology that I detest, actually, the ideology that is associated with collectivist.
They want everyone to end at the same place, regardless of how they run the race.
Can you be racist towards white people?
I don't think you can be racist to white people.
No.
White is not a race.
Is black a race?
African American.
Well, what about black people that aren't African American?
There's all different forms of nationalities.
If somebody were to say, I don't like this person based on their skin color and this person happens to be black, would that not be racist?
That is racist.
So replace black with white, would that be racist?
Well, yes, then.
Can you be racist towards white people?
No.
Can you be racist towards black people?
Well, yeah, I think so.
You'd get more sense out of 4-year-old.
Am I a feminist? Yes, because it took feminism to get us to the point where we are now. To get that equal.
Do you realize how different the job availability was 100 years ago?
But that doesn't excuse
do you realize
the fact that women and men got paid differently for doing the same job for the same hour.
But here's the thing, equal pay feminism can really only exist when there are comfortable air-conditioned office jobs. You didn't hear feminists in the fucking 1800s saying, I want to go into the coal mines and get black lung. Because for the longest period of human history, most jobs were extremely physical.
Send these women who want equal pay to war, and let's see how they do.
The way that they want to identify and respect the way that they want to present themselves to the world.
Bronte, I would like to identify, I do identify actually, as the correct person on this issue of abortion. I identify as being correct and more correct than you on this issue. And I would just ask that you accept.
And that's the best way to end an argument with a woke person. Well, that's the bell. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and let us know in the comments what better ways we can give these wokies what they really deserve. Don't worry, there will be a next video and we will see you then.